Hey, good afternoon. For the record, my name is Frank Shocker. I'm the chairman of the Chippewa tribe. I'm going to continue where I left off and try to cut it short. Let's begin with the consideration of the infrastructure of the coral reefs adjacent to or downhill from any proposed construction projects. Silt runoff generated from the construction and existence of concrete and/or asphalt structures and substrates without the permanent replacement of silt filters or catchments would result in the destruction of the coral reefs. Have you considered the Federal Coral Reef Preservation Act, or Our Reefs, would provide the habitat for our traditional sources of protein, similar to the North American bison? Potable water. Contrary to what your experts have told you, anyone who has lived on our island during a drought year can tell you from experience that the northern aquifer does not contain an unlimited supply of fresh water. Besides that, you haven't even had the decency to ask before assuming you can just take. Land. Every Chamorro family I know who own land within your proposed areas are abjectly opposed to your use, rental, lease, purchase, or condemnation of their lands. Your government has already stolen enough of our lands. Terrestrial biological resources. You've already killed off the vast majority of indigenous species of terrestrial resources with your toxic pesticides. Your destruction of the remaining natural habitat would result in the completion of your previous attempts. Marine biological resources. Your mitigation seems to be focused on replacement somewhere else with an artificial reef or a watershed management system. This is not your neighbor's tool shed you're talking about. Our reefs are as much a part of our lives as our families. They have sustained us since the beginning of time. Cultural resources. Contrary to your Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Black's labeling of us as Chamorrons, we are intelligent enough to understand the Supreme Court's ruling regarding the government of Guam's authority over the Aboriginal rights of the native inhabitants of this island. Are you? If you are, why do you persist on mitigating these issues with the government of Guam? I suggest you familiarize yourselves with the Native American Grace Protection and Repatriation Act. Oh, by the way, we consider all of the above topics as Aboriginal and inherent issues. The United Nations defines genocide as the denial of a people's right to exist, just as murder is the denial of a person's right to life. The United States government's continued subjugation of my people in our homeland, the continuous infusion of different ethnicities without regard to the protection of our Aboriginal rights and cultural values is a denial of our right to exist. Shame on you. You've exposed us to radiation fallout. You sprayed us with toxins. You have stolen our lands and you have exploited our culture and our people, all for your benefit. We have watched our family members suffer and die, victims of your benevolent assimilation. You show more respect and provide better care to those who have attacked you than to we who have been loyal to you. You court us with words of righteousness, giving us hope without substance. You subject us to your laws, but hold yourselves above those same laws. Throughout all of this, we have persevered. We have remained steadfast in our loyalty because we are enamored with the Constitution that you advertise but don't adhere to. Shame on you. We have reached the pinnacle in our relationship wherein change must occur. This proposed military buildup, with our current political status, will result in the cultural and racial genocide of the Chamorro people. We know this to be true. You are forcing us to choose between the destruction of our race, our homeland, and our culture, or to rise up against you in the hope that we may preserve something for our children and the generations to follow. Once my people recognize the threat, it is not our nature to sit idle and be consumed. This is the final chapter in your benevolent assimilation doctrine. Your future actions shall be the determining factor of our own. We will not lay down and quietly die for the sake of another's greed and convenience. Thank you.